What is up, everybody? This is Weekly Rewind. I am J-Lag, and I'm here with
NB.
And today...
And Bizzle.
What up, girl? And today we're gonna cover off some shiz.
Some shiz.
Some music. And some new updates, I guess.
So we're covering off American Gods. Because we are caught up now.
Yay, finally.
And Handmaid Tale. We're caught up.
Talk about all that shit.
So we really want to dissect and analyze good shows. Both of them. Really good.
Normally we do 3, but it's kind of dry right now. We're both not kind of caught up on a lot of things together. So we don't really want to talk about it together. Also, no one's talked to us about our format at all. So until you do, we're going to do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah,
we're
going to do the F we want.
2 shows instead of 3 shows. Okay. So, let's just get right into it.
Yep.
First things first, song of the week.
Oh, my song of the
Got
week
something for me?
Is Waterfall by Sia.
Oh.
And Pink.
Oh.
But it's the special remix. It's called the Seeb remix.
Oh, Seeb remix. Yeah, I like it.
So that is actually a faster version of the song, and it is lit. Lit. That's my song of the week.
Nice.
Sure.
I want to check it out. Is it like vibey?
It's fast. Yeah, it's good. It's like dancey.
Is Waterfall a new song or is it?
It's a new song, but like when I heard it on the radio, it was like super slow. I was like, "What is this?" Like this is like it's Sia. Like you can still hear both of them in it, but like it's super slow.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Seeb remix.
Seeb remix.
Seeb remix.
We'll have the link in the description.
Bottom. Check it out. Mine goes to Major Lazer. As per usual, I'm always down for a dance track. Yeah. They just last week dropped a EP. So I think it consisted of 6 new songs. One that I like the most.
Are they good? Are they like summer hits?
I wouldn't say summer hits. I'd say they're EP grade. And by EP grade I mean like they're not they're good. They're good songs. They're like danceable, but there's not like I can't really see a single. But then again, like they're all good.
That's surprising for them, though. That's surprising.
I think that when it comes to EPs, they're always like not as well produced.
Or
that's the way I see them.
Are there a lot of feature artists on it?
There are a lot of feature artists.
Because usually, like I feel like Major Lazer is that group that like always is a good feature on another. Like they have the beat and then like
So the one that I like specifically is called Particula. It's particular without the R at the end. And
Particula.
Yeah, and it's got this like kind of reggae feel to it, which is a lot of their music. It's very reggae like infused, and it's got like all these different people on it. There's like Jadena on it. Yeah, it's a good track. It's like groovy dance.
Link in bio.
Yeah, check it out and check out the entire EP because it is good. It's just I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. At recap
let us know.
Rewind. Please talk to us.
Let us know.
Let us know what's going on. Okay, let's get into it. So let's start with American Gods.
American Gods.
Give me the tea. So we have both caught up-ish. We didn't watch this past Sunday's episode just yet, but we're kind of caught up on as much as we can together. So we're at episode 5? 5.
Yes,
5.
We're at episode 5.
So
here's the tea. I watched the first episode and I was so confused out of my brains. I was like, "What am I watching right now? This is insane."
I think you even said like I watched it for 10 minutes and I couldn't get into it.
I'm because it was like that whole like I don't know if you guys watch it, but it's a whole like kind of medieval. Like,
it's like Vikings
on the beach. So I was like, what kind of show is this?
Yeah.
But you were like, don't worry, just wait a bit. It'll whatever. So I watched it again. I gave it a chance. I watched the second episode. I watched the third. And like by the third middle-ish episode of it, I was like, this is really good.
Right.
I was like hooked.
Yeah.
And then I watched the fourth and I was like really hooked.
Yeah.
So I really, really like it. The characters are definitely like, they're showing you these different characters and like, you just get attached to them, right? And that's what you're sort of waiting for.
Yeah.
Because originally, like even Wednesday wasn't as like he's very intriguing, but I didn't care about him to be like I have to watch him every week kind of thing, right? But now that Shadow has this really cool story, it's good. It's good.
So what are the parts of the show that you're liking right now? Now that we're in episode 5, we're gonna like break it all. Like we're gonna not like no holds barred.
Break it all down.
Tell me what you like the most. Like, is it story plot? Is it like the fact that his wife came back to life? Like, what is it?
That was a huge the wife coming back for sure was huge.
Yeah.
I love that part. I was like, oh my God. Because like it makes you be like, okay, I want to watch this next thing.
And I think that, and it's funny because you had kind of caught up before I had, and you were like, it's getting good. And I know that you're always down for a love story. Yeah. And you're always down for that romantic connection.
Yes.
And also down for like a female in a story.
Female, but also I feel like
Shadow that have anything to do with it?
Yeah, but I felt like Shadow was missing something. You know what I mean? Like he was really, he's really hot. Like he's nice to look at. Yeah. But even before that, like there's something missing about his story that you're not really attaching yourself to him just yet. So when that wife does come back and she's like, "Hi, puppy," like you're like, "Oh shit!" Like, so good. And just there's that whole connection there with his character that you see too.
That's true.
So it's just more exciting. Yeah. I also love their visuals, like the way they show. And I'm not like I wasn't down for Spartacus, like I wasn't down for all that blood everywhere, but there's something about this show. And I don't know, there's something a bit more magical to the show that I don't know. I really like it.
Yeah.
I really, because they do it right with the music, the sound, and then like the visuals.
Yeah.
It's like this eerie, but like really intriguing way of watching it. And I'm like, this is,
honestly, like I was just telling NB this morning that like music right now is like on point. The shows that we're watching at least on point with the music.
Yeah.
And I think it totally makes a show. You know, they had like, they had some good music in this one. They do a really, really good job with the sound design. And I agree with you. I think the visuals are stunning. And I think when we first talked about it in our last episode, that was the one major thing that kind of kept me going was the fact that like you're so confused by the story in like the first 2-3 episodes, but you're intrigued by the world enough. And I was visually intrigued by the world.
Visually intrigued.
And the way they shot it was like really cool. So I was like, I'm down to just watch it like artistically for now. And if you're down for like Greek mythology, there's some Egyptian mythology that kind of comes in. So all those little pieces kind of interested me. And I was like, ooh, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Like, I'm down to know about like the Greek fates. And like we were talking about that too. Like you didn't make as many connections as maybe I did. And I don't even know if I'm right, to be honest. But did you feel that kind of affected your interest in the story at the beginning at all? Like not knowing like who those sisters were or that whole
I think if I knew the stories behind this mythology more, maybe it would have been more interesting. It'd be like, "Ooh, cool, that's so and so," but like I had no idea who these people are. Yeah. So I'm just learning a lot more.
I thought it was cool because it still gripped you somehow.
Like for sure.
Without you even knowing the context.
I love the main actor, like Ian McShane, I think, who plays Wednesday. Like he's just a crazy character.
Yeah, he's so silly.
Just like there's something that you're drawn to him about. I don't know what it is. Like you are drawn to him in a way. Yeah. Because he's sort of leading you through the story. And also the idea of that, like, why are these people all like chasing Shadow Moon? Like, why do they want him?
Why do they need him?
What is happening? What is his powers? Who is this guy?
Even in this last episode was really interesting because you see technology, I guess, like the leader, the leader guy who's played by Crispin Glover.
Yeah, who was that guy? That guy was crazy. I think he's
like the master of technology. Okay. Like he's like the main guy.
Do you think he's the equivalent of Wednesday? Like those two are like the top OGs.
Exactly. And I think what Tech Boy, and I think that's what his name is in the books, is the one who gets like punched by the other woman. Yeah. They're all like the underlings. They're kind of like what...
It's like a hierarchy, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like what Shadow Moon is to Wednesday. But he doesn't have any powers.
Or even what that lucky guy is to Wednesday kind of thing.
Yeah, but is that lucky guy part of Wednesday's team? Or is he independent?
I don't know. We'll see.
Anyway, I mean, I think that's the thing about this show is like there is still so much mystery and questioning and intrigue to it. And I think that's what I think is the most...
But it's enough where you're like, you're so drawn to it.
Yeah.
Another thing was also like... we heard about this like major sex scene that's supposed to happen in the show, and we're like, what is this? What? When?
Yeah.
So we watched episode 4. Was it 4? And there is a sex scene in it between two men.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, that must not be it. It must be in episode 5. Yeah. And then I watched episode 5 and I'm like, wait, nothing happened. Like what?
Sex,
and then when we did research on it, it was that scene with the two men. And they were saying how they're really pushing the boundaries of like what you see on TV today, and you never see like this
male nudity,
and like this really like I guess a different way of
it wasn't that like Game of Thrones like vigorous like having like, sex in a brothel. It was like this very like intense softcore porn essentially, which is something that like and soft gay porn.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's soft gay porn.
And it was really interesting. There was like full frontal nudity. There was at one point in time, and this is just because I was like paying close attention, obviously, but like there's like a CGI shot where like he's essentially like screwing him. And like you can see like an erect penis, but it's like a shadow version of it because like the graphics change essentially, and it shows like their insides, like it shows him like being filled up with fire because the guy that he's having sex with is like this fire person. So there and that was always a question like that we'd always, like not always had, but like when we were talking about like Game of Thrones, and like it's come up a few times in the media, like why do women always have to show their boobs and guys never show their dicks, and why is it like what is this whole thing? That's a whole other conversation.
But that article from yesterday, we were reading it, the producers were saying how like apparently Stars was like, you can't have an erect penis on screen because that's like pornographic. But why though?
So and that's what I think we've talked about too, is like
how are you gonna have always naked women everywhere
like,
doing whatever?
You can't show a woman's like vagina, like like the full like bald version of it, because then that could be like a piece of like pornography versus like they always like put a carpet on top, right? So with and that's what I mean, like they showed the erect penis, but it was like in a animated graphic.
They always they were
like,
like
so
it was either prosthetic or it was CGI.
Like unless you were like looking for it, which I was.
So apparently
like, you wouldn't see it.
So like, where's Waldo? So apparently they shot that scene and it went back to like the dailies and they didn't like it, so they had to reshoot it again, and they really took their time, and like because it's awkward, right? Like to shoot a scene. Like, I think both actors are two straight men, so they were saying how like definitely like it's a very like personal like I don't think everyone was in the room when they were filming it. It's pretty intense. But apparently the first shot that they took didn't like it, the director. He's like, no, we have to refilm it, like we have to reshoot it.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was
beautiful.
For me, I thought it was really well done. The music was like,
the music was so good,
like so like Mediterranean and like really
and you don't
nice.
know, like you didn't know what to think, if like this guy's hurt, like is he evil or is he good? Like he seems good. He seems good, but I don't know. And then in the next morning, like he woke up and that
he kind of like
the guy with like the fire eyes wasn't there anymore, and he almost like became him.
He's like he absorbed his energy.
I wonder what's up with that too. That's
it was very, very interesting to see it. And I know that Stars, and I think that's the thing, like with Stars, they do push the boundaries. Like thinking about it now, Spartacus did have like a few gay characters in it and gay couples in it, and I think there must have been at least one sex scene, one sex scene, but they didn't do it the same way. You're right, they didn't do it like in this very like like it was an intriguing way to do it. And I think that's the one thing that I really like about this show specifically, is especially this last episode, or the episode that I watched last, episode 5, the first like 3-4 minutes is like this brand new animation. Did you notice that?
Which one?
The one where it's like talking about like
the ice people
and how that god died. And it's all done in this like almost like not stop motion, it's CGI.
It had a weird look to it,
and like there's always like a narration, and they've done that in like maybe like a few episodes, like where they have this like pre-story, maybe not all of them actually.
They do all of them.
Like,
Coming to America, have, like, stories, I think.
Pre-story telling kind of prefacing the episode, and then they like try to find a way to connect it later. So I think that was the one thing that you kind of noticed at the end of episode 5, correct me if I'm wrong, where like you see the trees. Is that the connection that you see in the beginning of the episode?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't remember. So another thing I was telling Jalak was that I have to watch these episodes like twice over because I miss things. Like I don't like connect them sometimes. It's a very jam-packed. Or I'm not paying attention. I was doing laundry last night when I was watching. But also like you have to really, really pay attention. It is like a Game of Thrones. Of Thrones, I have to pay attention. I can't miss a beat.
And now that the words, because you have to remember this is a book, so the writing is really rich, and the writing
does connect. It connects, right? So you want to hear those.
And there's some amazing
even like
lines
Handmaid
in there
too, for
there's
sure.
some amazing lines in there that are like really, really interesting. Speaking of which, and this is a completely sideline, how interesting is it that we're watching 2 shows and it's like kind of the cream of the crop for us right now? and they're both based on books.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones based on a book.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's a lot of truth to this idea that when a script is solid and written, and it's pretty much halfway there because it's written in a book, that there's kind of like an ending, that there's a richness to the story? Do you think that adds anything to it?
I don't know. I think it definitely adds to it, but I think as much as it adds to it, it can take away from it.
Right.
You can completely butcher a story.
True.
If you don't adapt it properly from a book.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the people who are in charge of adapting the book or the novel to a script.
True.
It's the way they see it, like in their vision. Like the guy didn't like the sex scene. He made them retake it.
Yeah,
like that's someone who really is, I do not feel this. This is not the appropriate scene.
Yeah.
Like I'm not feeling that emotion. Do it again. Like
Yeah.
you need those kind of people to be on your production set to be like, no, like this is not right.
The writer was on the set and said that?
Not the writer. It was like one of the producers or like one of the directors or something. But like as a whole team, like they have to have that vision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And like even with Handmaid's Tale, some of the songs that they choose, like you can tell as a whole production, as the music department, as the cinematography, like they all are on point. Mm-hmm. They have to all be on point to like flawlessly like adapt this beautiful story to the screen. Yeah. And it's not a home run. Just because you have an amazing book, it doesn't mean that the book is going to translate to a script.
It's true.
For sure.
It's true.
You know?
That's a
how do you take out those perfect moments, right? Yeah. And put them into
and I mean,
a scene. I think it's really hard.
And I think,
but like you're saying, it does have a beginning and an end. Yeah. And I think that is really important. Like, it does give you an advantage because you can kind of see like this is your timeline. Yeah. This is like your world. Fill in the blanks. Right.
And that's a fantastic like segue into the next conversation with Handmaid's Tale, because we've been kind of having this conversation where, like what's in the book, what's not in the book, what are they showing us that like is kind of supplementary to the main storyline, like how long can you stretch out a story, like this is in comparison to like a comic book that is still running, like The Walking Dead, for example, that doesn't have a current ending, so, and even though Game of Thrones isn't quite done, we know that they have an ending in sight.
Yeah, he told them.
So he's kind of, you're right, they're filling in the gaps wherever they want to, and they can extend it for as long as they want to. But I think that when it comes to that, it all depends on the showrunners deciding how long the show needs to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, now that Game of Thrones is kind of at its like 7th season, and we love this world and we're excited. You do need to see an end point at some point in time. Same with American Gods. I think once that novel, because it's only one novel, you're going to want to know how that story ends. You leave it open and you can extend it for as long as you want. But you kind of need to
can't extend it for as long as you want either. I don't believe that.
No, I agree.
Because you like suck everything out of the story, and then now you have like a soap opera show.
You dilute it. Yeah, exactly.
So you can't either.
And same with Handmaids. So we're gonna get into Handmaids now.
Game of Thrones is lucky because there has just so many characters. Yeah, like there's so many that you could branch off and do a whole season on like just Arya.
Which
like
which
you
they are.
They're
doing like 3 spin-offs or something like that. So.
But yeah, Handmaid's Tale, I definitely see an ending. I want an ending. Okay. I can't like go through this pain anymore.
So let's get into it. So we're at episode, the last episode
7 or 8?
is episode 8. And it's called Jezebels for a good reason. Jezebels, which is where she goes. Oh. That's who those women are.
Oh, that's what it's called. Okay.
So in this one, we get a new kind of sneak a peek. The commander decides that he wants to go take Offred out into the world.
If you hated like these people before, you're gonna hate them like after this episode. Much more it's disgusting.
Yeah,
it's so gross.
So yeah, and then he goes out there and he basically like dolls her up.
Yeah, he's like, shave your legs.
He shaves her legs.
He shaves her legs. He's like, we got something about those legs, girl. Yeah, I'm like, shut up.
So gross.
So gross.
And he takes her out because he's like, my wife is away. I'm gonna take you out. So he takes her to this like next level place where he's not even supposed to be taking her.
Yeah, like they legit drive to like the next city.
To like 5 separate borders. Yeah. And at one point in time she has to like pretend to be like Serena. Yeah. And then at one point she has to like duck. He's like, duck. Because you can't
put your
be
head
in the
on
house.
my lap.
Yeah.
I was like, convenient.
And then on top of all of that, like Nick is driving them. Yeah. So like
he's getting cheesed.
Getting cheesed about it. And she's like, sorry about it. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, obviously it's not her choice. Like, obviously. Like, I don't know why he's mad at her.
So, okay, let's talk about really quickly about, like, her glamazon moment. How jarring was that
First of all, let me just talk about how Elizabeth Moss is a Scientologist. Can I just drop that bomb right there? Okay, like who are you, girl? You're playing yourself right now in the show. You're getting so played out.
And we like uncovered this over the week, and I was like, oh,
it changed my whole mindset about her. I was like, oh, this is reality.
Yeah, it totally changed.
I don't like her anymore.
It shifted the way I saw her for sure.
Yeah.
And like, it made me think like, casting is a big thing. Wouldn't you like look into that shit?
Yeah, but she was in Mad Men, dude. She like has a good rap. Like she's been in Mad Men. So, anyways, sorry guys, I have to drop that
full
bomb.
Side note.
But yeah, her glad moment, it was good.
Yeah. No, and I think it was just really, really dark because the entire first part of that that sequence, it's a man telling her what to do, but like the nicest way possible, and it just shows like all the shit that on a current level that women like do for men without like being told what to do.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
That's so interesting.
And now like they don't have a choice.
We do it now without being told, but she's literally being told.
You put on
shave
your
legs, put on your makeup.
Yeah.
Put your dress on.
And she does it, and she looks just like a normal person now. You know what I mean? So for me, like seeing that transformation to this woman who like scantily clad, like beautiful dress, like it feels different. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
I just find it so disgusting. Like as the commander, you've created this world.
Yeah.
Right?
You decided
what they're all gonna wear, how much skin they're gonna show.
Yeah.
Now you're okay with taking this next broad to like this like whorehouse and like dressing her up and stuff.
It was really, really fucked up.
Who do you think you are?
So fucked up.
It's disgusting. It's so gross because I feel like there's so many people that do that.
True
like even today,
story,
you know, like you're so hypocritical.
These people who claim to be like religious and like really
how are you gonna
extremists,
oh my God,
and then they turn around, they're like, hey, like we have these like brothels.
He's like, yeah, come with me to like my wife's away. Shut up. Yeah, your wife. She's your freaking wife.
It was really, really gross to see, for sure.
Like,
yeah, so he takes her to this like,
and she's just confused. She's like, I don't even understand what's happening right now. Like, where am I going?
And she's just at this point trying to survive. She's submitted to the idea, I'm gonna do whatever this man does.
Well, yeah, like
just so I can live
has no
my life.
choice.
Like she doesn't have a choice anyway. But like she knows that it's in her best interest to like just keep him happy and like stay close. And now she also knows like how hard it is to get out of where she is too. You know, like she knows the border controls. She knows like, and so that's what I was thinking too. Like she's obviously like picking up on all these little things. Like he's letting her in on this little part of the world because he's like, ooh, I got a girl on my shoulder. But like he's not realizing that she's a smart woman. She's gonna pick up on this shit and she's gonna find a way to get out of there. So like he's like in that particular regard, like it's the rise and the fall of like the white patriarchy, right? Like when you see it, like you don't think enough people have power, but you still want people on your side because you're going to be lonely up there, up top. Of course. So you bring people from the bottom, you bring them to the top. You don't think they're going to find a way to get up there?
Yeah.
You know, like,
and it's interesting that you said that because there's a part in that episode where they find the last handmaiden and she killed herself, right? She hung herself in the room.
Yeah.
And then Serena looks at him and she goes,
"What did you think was going to happen?"
happen?
So true.
And it's so
super
true.
Powerful.
Like,
because like you
like, are you delusional? Like, look what you're doing to these people. You think they're gonna be happy?
Yeah. And in this episode too, like we uncover,
and for
like
Serena
Nick's,
to say that's huge.
It's true.
For the wife to say that, I was like, this girl, she's done with this world too.
And so just really quickly connecting to that, but like we in this episode we connect to like Nick's past and how he got into the world. He essentially like got recruited by some guy that was a part of this religious like church.
He's like, you need help? I'll help you. Come be my driver.
Right. So then he's driving them around. He's driving like the current commander around with like his boss and stuff, and they're talking about this whole Handmaid's idea before being put in place. Started, and he's like, you're talking about concubines, like you're basically telling them like they need to like have sex so then they can have kids for the rest of the country. And they're like, it'll be fine. And then one of them said like, what would the like wives think about that? And they're like, oh, don't worry about that.
We'll convince them.
We'll convince them. They'll like that more if we call it like a ceremony.
Yeah, he's like, if we call it a ceremony, it'll sound more like
and he's big, like they're like the women, the wives will eat that shit up.
Like shut up.
Like it was, and like seeing that juxtaposed in the same episode with the hanging of a hand, like their previous handmaid, you just see like right away the wife is like, obviously I'm not down for this, and obviously no one's down for this. What the fuck were you guys thinking? You know. So it's interesting to see these like little pieces, and you know what, that are starting to fall apart in this perfect society that they wanted to create. Like even at one point in time, like while they're driving to this Jezebel place, he like mentions to Offred, he's like, oh yeah, we like have like solar panels everywhere, like the place is like super like efficient now, like as she gives a shit, like she's living in the fucking like as a slave right now.
She's like, this is not my world anymore.
Yeah, it's like why do I care? World. And he's like so happy, he's like proud of like what his like government has done, like, oh now we're like super efficient with like solar power and shit, like, but yeah, you're also enslaving people to like have children, so what's the win right now?
I think for me the most intriguing part of this whole thing is Serena Joy's story, because to see how she, you know, to see how she was really down for this world. She helped her husband. She was like, let's change everyone. It's gonna be a better world. It's gonna be better like environment. She's like, we're gonna do this. And this girl got railroaded so quickly, pushed out of the picture. Her opinions don't mean shit anymore, and she just has to go along with this world. And like, to see someone who had a vision of this world, they really did. They really were optimistic and like, no, this might work for everyone. That's all gone. Yeah. It's really messed up to see that. Yeah. How fast the husband pushed her out of the picture. Yeah.
So my hope is at some point in time she's gonna clock in and like really,
I really hope so.
Really like find a way to like bring through. It's interesting. They're starting to like make all these little pieces. They're showing you outside of the world so you can kind of get a context of things, because I feel like once they open it up, then you can know where they can go next. So I'm really excited.
You know what's interesting in the whole like general like thing? Yeah. There's so many shows that for some reason in the last like couple years that they highlight how men control, like the powerful men control everything. Yeah. Like even in Game of Thrones, all the fundamental mistakes that have happened in the world are by men.
And like one man. Yeah. Or two men.
Like Robb Stark. It's all the men making these decisions because either they fell in love, or they're gonna like hook up with some next woman, or like whatever, or they go crazy. Like religious. Yeah, it's just funny to see
the shift.
Yeah. Like it'd be interesting to see a woman, like a world run by like women, and like what choices we would make in those like moments, you know? Right. Or just people with more like empathy, basically.
I mean, I think that show would be,
because these men are just like, power hungry.
Yeah. I think a show like that would be like super empowering. There would be no drama because like everything I think would run pretty smoothly. Maybe. I mean, you never know, like, right? Yeah. But yeah, know. It's true. Like these men took all the power. Yeah. You know, that scene when she's walking in the hallway, I was so grossed out. Like I wanted to throw up. Like you can hear all the
noises. Stuff, like it was disgusting. Yeah. Like
just reminding yourself like where you are. These people who wanted
this next world to be like this next like beautiful like place or whatever in their delusional minds, and they went back to exactly what they were doing before. Yeah, except and all these other people are suffering. Yeah. Like. Yeah. It's disgusting.
So one top moment in the episode 2 is we discover that Moira's still alive, and she is a Jezebel. So a Jezebel is like, I guess, like a prostitute who lives in this world, and they essentially like sell them out to like politicians and stuff. So she's there. She has a conversation with Offred and is like, hey, what's going on? And she has a really powerful conversation with her where essentially Offred tells her, she's like, he's alive. My husband's alive, and he got out. What's his name again? Luke.
Yeah, Luke.
She's like, Luke's alive, and she's like,
he's in Canada.
And then Moira's like, don't think about him. He's like, we're alone right now, so think about yourself. Yeah. And then in the very end of the episode, she writes like in the corner of like the bedroom, like, you are not alone, because she's trying to remind everyone like, it's hard because at this point in time, what they've done in this world is they've separated all the women to make them feel oppressed even more and feel alone even more. So there is no united front. There is no like, let's all stand together and fight, because everybody's separated. Yeah. You know, her best friend is like fucking being a prostitute just to survive. Yeah. She's a fucking like handmaid. They're not together.
And then even that moment when, and I don't know, maybe I'm interpreting it like a different way, but what I got from that moment when Serena comes home and she's like, I got you something. Oh yeah. And it's, Serena went to go visit her mom, right? So she comes back with her old childhood ballerina, like the, what's it called? Box. The lullaby, whatever. She gives it to Offred. But the way she almost looked at it, like Serena looked at it as if like she missed those things. That's what I got from it. Like she gave it to her, and like as she sees like the ballerina like spinning, she like probably remembered like her childhood too, and being like how much she enjoyed playing with something like that, and all those moments from before.
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't notice
part of her must have missed it.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, it'll be really, really cool to see all these women in different sections of this world
coming together.
Because
then the way Offred said at the end, she was like, what a perfect gift for me, a girl stuck in a box and only can get let out and dance when someone lets her to.
Yeah.
So like the way she saw the toy,
not be
like
put into a box.
Yeah, but I was like, true. Yeah. She's in a box.
It's really fucked up.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, also like Nick and her like low-key break up.
Yeah,
because he's like, I can't do this with you anymore.
Yeah. So the interesting part with Nick is that he was an eye, so he was actually working for like the higher government, whatever, to spy on the commanders and like report back to be like, is the commander like being like truthful? Is he doing his right like purpose?
Because in a flashback, like one of the commanders got like sent
why
away.
did he get booked for though? What did they say?
I don't remember what he said. He said something about like not agreeing.
Like he screwed his handmaid or something on the low or something. Yeah, so there's still rules to being like the commander, the men, whatever. Yeah. But it's interesting because I feel like Nick is turning away from that slowly, right?
He's turning away from it now because like he's fallen in love with Offred. Yeah,
but that's a really cool like.
Now he's kind of fighting it because he's like, I don't know if I screw over the commander, then I'm screwing you over too. Yeah. So I think
just watch it.
Just watch it. The episode was good. I think it's something that is terrifying to watch because it's so real. And I think that's that. I want to do a bonus show.
Bonus?
Bonus. I forgot that we both finished watching Dear White People.
Yes, it was so good.
I powered the F through it because I really, really liked it.
I knew you were going to like it.
I know. Thanks, girl. You know me so well.
I got you.
And so I wrote down a few notes and I really wanted to like talk through some of them. First of all, like this entire episode, like watch these shows before you listen to it. We got to the very end, so episode 10, but one of the things that really stood out with me that I wanted to talk about was the pivotal episode 5, which is the party where Reggie gets basically like a gun pointed in his face.
Yeah.
So
by like campus police.
Yeah. So first of all, I thought it was a really interesting conversation to start off with, where one of his friends was like rapping to a song and the N-word was in it, and Reggie's like, you can't use that word. And that's kind of how it's incited. And it's that is an interesting conversation in itself. And I think that's the one thing that I really like about the show is like they're bringing up these topics, but it's not just like, you know, like it's a really cool way to do it.
It's not one-sided. It's like a very like
you're seeing both sides,
all sides, all concerns, all questions,
and you're seeing like even him trying to defend himself. This white guy being like, no, but why can't I say it?
Yeah, like yo, we're friends.
Yeah,
like,
we're friends.
Wrong?
Like I'm not racist, so like why do you think it's a big deal? And he's like, you can't say that. It's not for you. So it was really interesting to see that. And then the gun part was really, really scary. So basically security police come up to him and think that he's like starting some shit, or there's like an instigation. They start getting into a fight with he gets into a fight with his friend, and then they like pull each other apart, and then he's like, give me your ID. And Reggie starts to resist. He doesn't violently resist, but he's like, why do you need my ID? I'm a student here. Because he's not
asking the other student for his ID.
Yeah. And he's like, give me your ID. And then he once again like does it, and then he pulls out a gun, and then shit kind of like changes the entire tone of the entire episode and the rest of the show, where like essentially Reggie, he doesn't die, but he is faced with this kind of like shock.
The gun's like in his face.
A gun literally staring down a barrel, and like anything that you can do can kill you. Like at that point in time, he like gets so scared that he pulls out his wallet slowly out of his pocket. And like, you know, we hear it in the media all the time where like someone is about to pull it out of their pocket and they get shot anyway. So like it is effing so terrifying. It was terrifying to see it, and it was heart-wrenching to see it, because thankfully he stayed alive and you saw like how much it affected him, like let alone the people who get shot.
And it affected everyone in the room too, because that whole party just like
stopped.
Turn the F down.
It stopped. And like even like the aftermath as to like what happens afterward, they do a good job with the drama, like the personal drama, where there's like somebody sleeping with somebody and like someone breaks up with someone.
What did you think about like her boyfriend being the one that called the cops?
I thought it was a great little twist, because I thought that it was an interesting way to kind of present, first of all, a problem between the relationship, but also like when you're in a situation like that, you don't know what's right. So is calling the cops a good thing? And is it because he was white
and
that he was worried?
Yeah, like not even that.
Like,
instinctively, like when he thinks of cops, he thinks of protection. He thinks of like
right.
help, right? I need help, I call 911.
Yeah.
Whereas like on the flip side, it's like don't call the cops.
Don't call the cops because they can kill us.
That's yeah.
You know,
I mean, like that's freaking scary, and that's such a like look at that difference of
yeah.
how you mentally even look at the cop in that system.
Like cops are dangerous.
Yeah. Whereas like he's like, no, I'm gonna get protected.
Yeah.
Like we need someone to help us here.
Yeah. It's scary to
which
think
is how it
like,
should be for
totally
everyone, for every single person.
Absolutely. And I think that like the resolve of the entire season was really interesting. They ended up having a protest because of that particular incident, and kind of shit hits a fan on that too. Where like
why do campus police have guns? They should not even have guns.
Yeah, I think that was a major thing about it too. Anyway, we'll get it. Like, so definitely watch that series. That series is
It's on Netflix.
Phenomenal. Really, really good. Finally, we're gonna do some hot goss.
Hot gossip of the week.
Finally, getting into that last little bit of it. We're going to get into some hot topics.
What's your hot topic?
Of the week. I've got a few, girl.
Oh,
I got a few.
Tell me about it, because I don't think I got any right now.
First and foremost, Master of None, one of our friends, wouldn't shut up about it. So I was like, all right, fine. I watched the first season. Great season. I love the show. I love what it stands for. Love seeing like a brown guy in it, repping. So the second season dropped recently. So I watched the first episode. Really funny, really fresh. Definitely one to watch. So check it out for sure. What else to watch? This is something that like I love personally, and we haven't even talked about it, but RuPaul's Drag Race is like up and out there. And this is the first season that it's kind of like having a lot more mainstream airplay because it was pulled in by an NBC. Like they own it now, but they own it low key. Like they own it by like through like VH1. So like it's getting a lot of like marketing through SNL. Like we saw like that little skit about it in SNL. So, you know, I think it's getting a larger stage this season. And this season is pretty good too. So definitely check it out if you haven't checked it out. It's kind of at the middle point, so you missed a lot of the drama, but I'm sure there's going to be more to go. And I'm super excited to see what the rest of the season is going to be like. Another show that I definitely just started getting into, like literally yesterday, is Insecure. And this is a show on HBO, and I don't know if anybody's calling it, but I kind of want to compare it to Girls because it's a woman, and she's kind of like living her like late 20s. So she's a little bit older than the girls in Girls, but she's kind of like going through her life, and she's living in LA with her friend, and you know, she's got a career kind of, and she's got her own issues going on in her own life because she's like kind of getting to that like 30. So she's kind of like that dirty 30. So it's like it's funny. It's a really fun watch. I think the stuff is like really current. Like I was watching the first episode yesterday, and like I love like the fact that they're like playing Drake, like new album Drake. And you know, like I like that kind of shit. So and they're using like current terminology and current situations. So I love when shows are like fresh and like have that like feeling of a generation. And I think it's definitely a show that maybe might be smack dab, not to age myself, but like smack dab as to exactly where I'm at in my life in terms of like relationships, going through relationships, and like, you know, breaking up and getting together, and like reasons why, like moving forward at this point in time in your life. I thought it was cool. It's hilarious. It's actually so funny. You didn't love it so much?
I watched the first episode a while ago, so I'll give it another chance. I'll give it another try.
I definitely would say at least get it to the
But
second episode.
I remember being like, like hearing Drake and stuff. I was like, okay, this is cool. But then I never like kept watching it.
The first episode's a little like awkward because it's like they go to like a random club, and like she does like some like slam poetry. But the second episode's pretty funny. Yeah. Anyway, check that out. And finally on my list of hot tings, y'all, don't forget it. Put it in your calendars. This week, end of the week, Saturday, Friday. Aaaaand TV.
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black season 6, I think it is now, or 5.
5, maybe.
Is coming back and coming through hard. I think it is the perfect time for it to come in. We left off last season with this like kind of like standoff with the security guards.
The revolution.
The beginning of the revolution. And I think it's really cool, and it's super current for right now that all these like women power shows are coming through and have like a really interesting like revolutionary arc. So check that shit out. I'm going to leave this off. I think this is a long episode.
That's it.
Is there anything on your side?
Orange is the New Black. That's about it. Okay. House of Cards came out, so I want to House of Cards this week.
True story. Not going to watch that.
And then Flaked came out.
Oh, what's Flaked?
And Flaked is with, what's his face? Amy Poehler's ex-husband.
Oh, yeah. Will Arnett.
Will Arnett. First season was so funny. And it's based in Venice, California, so it's super pretty to watch.
That's the show that you wanted me to watch.
So second season just dropped, so I'm going to watch that this week too.
Okay,
That's it.
That's it. Check them out, guys. Bye. Let us know what you think. And
tweet us at recap_rewind.
As per
Let us know. Talk to us. Message us. Like us. Comment.
I don't know what's going on, guys. Bye.
Okay, that's it. Bye.